Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this live session on this Sunday evening. And I wanted to share this session with you because I was hit by a bit of a thunderbolt a few days ago. I've been doing some coaching for the past 3 months or so, and this was my final session of the 12 sessions that I'd booked. And during it, and I can't remember in fact the exact circumstances in which it came up, but my coach said to me, "Do you feel valuable?" And it occurred to me that I can see my value to many other people. I can see my value perhaps as a partner, as carer for my cats, as a sibling perhaps as a friend and a neighbour. And certainly I can see my value as a trainer and a practitioner, but my own value to myself, that was a tricky one. And if someone asked me, what am I, why am I valuable, what are my attributes, my valuable attributes, I think I would really struggle to name those. And it came to me that really all my life, from when I was very young, my value, my intrinsic felt value in the world was around what I achieved. So this was a gift from my parents, and perhaps it started because I actually was an unplanned baby and my dad didn't particularly want me and was pretty disappointed when he found out that I was coming. So for most of my life, I have felt the need to prove myself in terms of possessions or income or achievements, certificates, grades, whatever it's been. So that has been my felt sense of intrinsic value. And so this was a bit of a bombshell for me to have this realization, and it occurred to me that I'm probably not alone. And there are many of us out there with a similar belief system going on. And I want to emphasize here that this is a belief. This is not reality. Our whole lives are based purely on our perception of what's going on. None of it's actually real in some ways. So how we perceive the world, it is just perception. So it's not true. And so therefore we can change it, which is always nice. I'm just going to shift the screen a little. Okay, so some of the things that I came up with that might be an indicator that you don't value yourself. And I have been guilty of pretty much all of these at some point or another, if not now. So people who are consummate apologisers, they are sorry for everything, even when it's not their fault. And equally, people who never apologise. So even when it blatantly is their fault, they would never say that they were sorry or ask for forgiveness. So that can be a lack of self-value. It might be, for sure, anyone who measures their success by external factors. So whether that's exam results, prizes won, races won, grades at school, certificates on the wall, income, client numbers, title at work, grade, car they drive, size of house, anyone who judges anything by external factors and that makes them feel self-worth definitely is not valuing themselves. And I'm not saying this is in all aspects of your life. So you may see that you are valuable as a parent, as a spouse, as a sibling, as a neighbour, as a friend. You can see your value in many aspects, but it's whether you truly value yourself. A big area for many people, and me included, is self-sabotaging behaviour. So if you are currently on your 5th diet regime of 2019, then you're probably not loving yourself, you're not valuing yourself, because you keep falling off the wagon and having to pull yourself back on, and I'll just have these 5 chocolate biscuits and it won't really hurt. So that's a loss of connection with our own intrinsic value. Whether self-sabotage is through not having control of your money, not keeping your house clean and tidy, or maybe keeping it too clean and tidy and being obsessive, that could be equally as damaging. Anything around food, alcohol, lack of hydration, over or under exercise. So, not, beating yourself up if you haven't done 2 hours in the gym every day. You know, do you really loving yourself even when you're exhausted? You make yourself go and do a workout. And I don't think self-love is sitting on the sofa with a bag of hobnobs either. So that's probably just indulgence or copping out something else. It's finding the balance. If you are prone to criticize others or judge other people by their appearance, their money, their income, their status, whatever else, you are going to be doing that to yourself. So whatever we do externally, however we are to others, is how we are to ourselves. It's just a reflection. The world is a mirror, and it's a hard lesson to learn. So there are a million ways in which we may feel that we lack value. And this is intrinsic value, the value we feel that we have to ourselves. So if you were to sit and to think for a moment of your values, of your valuable attributes, shall we say. So what is valuable about you? What would you say? And is it all defined by other people? I'm a really good daughter. I really look after my mum well. I'm a really good neighbour. I went and got her shopping. But what are your real values to yourself? What do you love about yourself? And this isn't how you look or how your hair is today or the fact that you lost 3 pounds last week. This is about the qualities in you that you really love. And if you're struggling, then stay, because you probably benefit from being here. So we're going to do a really gentle exercise. But having said that, I started doing this with myself a few days ago, and it triggered me a lot. So when I start tapping on something that's quite profound for me and deep, I have a habit of retching and almost vomiting. So I won't do that tonight, I promise. But it's, and I never actually am sick, but I tend to go deep quite quickly, and it shifts a lot. So I would recommend having a box of tissues to hand. And I just want to show you something that you can do, or explain something you can do if you find this quite overwhelming. I would ask that you don't stop totally, because if you're in a triggered state, it's not going to help you. But just sit, if you feel really overwhelmed with emotion, sit with your feet on the ground and just imagine you are walking. So just do a walking action with your feet. So one foot goes onto the toes, the other one onto the heel, and then reverse that. And this will really help you to ground and to bring you away from any trauma that you sense is there. So there may have been a traumatic event in your childhood, even pre-birth, and it's really often pre-birth. The conception story is a biggie. You know, if you were not a planned baby, or for some reason, maybe one or other of your parents was in a state of stress when you were conceived or when mum was pregnant with you, it can have a really profound effect on our life. And you might think that is nonsense, but trust me, I have worked with so many people where this is applicable. It can just be for that moment mum finds out she's pregnant and it's like, oh my God, we can't really afford another kid. Or dad says that. And mum's really annoyed at him. This was my story. My dad didn't want me. My mum was really pissed off at him. Spent the whole of her pregnancy with cystitis, which is a true sign of being pissed off. And so my story is one of always having to achieve and be good and make myself worthy and have them love me, because here I am. So it's really profound, and you might not know your conception story, but if you do, it can be useful. You know, it can be helpful to know what the circumstances were. And you're here, you know, you were meant to be here for whatever reason, so it's no accident that you're here, even though your mum might say it was an accident. But you are here, and it's just a case of getting over that story. And we're going to do a little exercise later on, just to bring together all of your little younger selves, even the unborn ones are going to come along here too. But first, we're just going to do some tapping. So start tapping on the outside of the hand. And I just want you to think of the feeling of what you would say if someone said to you, why are you valuable? And you might just have a blank space. You might think, I'm not. You might start justifying a long list of reasons that are all extrinsic, not intrinsic things. So they're all external. They're all to do with other people. So any of those, it's fine. And just notice what you feel and feel it anyway. Give yourself permission to feel like this. Remember to do the walking action if you feel overwhelmed. And for some reason, when I tap on video, I always get a runny nose. I'm just going to wipe my nose. I think it's the light. Okay. So just say to yourself, you can say it out loud if you want to, but it's not obligatory. Even though I have this feeling when I think about whether or not I'm valuable, I choose to accept myself anyway, just as I am. And just sit with that and say it again. Even though I have this feeling when I think about whether or not I'm valuable to myself, I accept myself anyway. Okay, just notice what's coming up, where you're feeling emotion or what you're feeling. And you might just feel emptiness. That's okay. Just tap on feeling empty. You may well feel emotion. Very often it's down the center line. So it's often from between the eyes, maybe throat, chest, stomach, solar plexus, really common places. Sometimes it's other places, but they're the common ones. So you might just notice that you're feeling something. Just tap on the top of your head and keep your focus on what you're feeling. Just notice what you're feeling. It might be a big hole of emptiness. It might be deep sadness. Tap on the inside of the eyebrow. It might be regret. Tap on the outside of the eye. You might think, I am worth nothing. I have no value in this world. Tap under the eye. That might be the thought that comes to you or something similar. Just keep tapping. If you start to burp, sigh, yawn, they're all really good signs of releasing, so don't worry. Under the nose, I always burp. So apologies for that. And under the mouth. All these feelings that come up when I think of my value to myself, tapping under the collarbone. What comes up when you think of your own self-value? What are you worth to you? What do you mean to you? Tapping under the arm. All of the value that you have to yourself or not. Tap across the wrist. Do you have any value to yourself? Are you of value? Is your value dictated by your impact on the lives of others? Tap next to your thumb. What did you do today just for you that made you feel good? Did you make yourself get up and do a bit of yoga or go for a run? Or tap next to each finger in turn. Did you allow yourself a lie-in because you're really tired and it's been a really long week? And you thought, I'm going to turn the alarm off. I'm not going to beat myself. I'm going to have that extra hour. And did you do that out of self-love or because you couldn't be bothered to get up? Did you not give yourself a hard time when you failed to go to the gym today? That would be an act of self-love and self-value, wouldn't it? Tapping on the outside of the hand again. Okay, just take a breath. And just reevaluate where you are right now. Where are you right now? So think about, I am valuable. And I want you to say that out loud if you can, if it's not really embarrassing. If you're on a bus or a train, well, you can. I am valuable to myself. What does that bring up? Any emotion? Any sense of anything? I've got a little something going on in my chest. Don't know what it is. I'm going to sit with that feeling in my chest. It's like a flutter for me. I am valuable to myself. Okay, and then just say to yourself or out loud, even though when I say I am valuable to myself, I get this feeling in my body or this emotion, I accept myself anyway. You can say I love and accept myself anyway, if that's okay. Even though I get this feeling, for me it's a flutter in my chest, when I say I am valuable to myself, I love and accept myself anyway. And we'll do it once more for fun. Even though I get this feeling in my chest, when I say I value myself, I am valuable to myself, I love and accept myself anyway. And you might want to give any emotion or any feeling that comes up a number. So 10 is a really high, you're really triggered, it's a strong emotion. 2 or 3 is not too bad. My little flutter in my chest was number 3. Okay, so just sit in with whatever came up for you. Just sit in with that. If memories come up, just say to them, we're going to come to you in a minute. I'm just going to put you over there. Just send them off to the corner, put them in a beautiful box. Tell them they're not ignored. We're just going to park them for a moment. Okay, just tapping through the points, sitting with that feeling in your physical body when you think about your value to yourself. Tapping under your eye. Okay. And you can let go of this if you want. If you're ready to, you could let go of this emotion, because it is an emotion. And at some level, your amazing subconscious mind has allowed you to have this emotion, and it can unallow you to, or it can choose to let it go. Because we are actually not our thoughts. We create our thoughts, and we can choose to let them go. Tapping under the collarbone and then under the arm. And on tapping across the wrist, keeping your focus on what the feeling was in your body. Notice if it's changing, notice if it gets higher, gets more, gets worse. Tapping next to each finger in turn. Now, if the feeling's still pretty high, I'd ask you to pause and just keep tapping and just work through that again until the number comes right down. We want that down to at least a 3, not higher than a 3. Okay. So just say out loud, this is your measure. I am valuable to myself. And actually, I got a little feeling of like, yeah, you are. It's a little tiny voice, but it was there. Definitely a kind of, yes, you are valuable. So that's a real shift for me. That's a big turnaround. Excellent. Okay. So if you're getting something like that, if you're not being triggered by that now, that's fantastic. And I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes if you're happy to do so. You do not have to. Just keep your hand on your heart and tap on this point on the back of your hand, about here. Okay, or just press that point. Okay, so just close your eyes. And you might get a bit woo-woo here. Just go with me. It's a proven method, works every time. Close your eyes if you're happy to do so. If you feel triggered, just start that walking action on the floor. Just move your feet as though you're walking quite slowly, because your feet will tell you you're walking away from any trauma, any upset, and it will calm you, and you can tap and breathe as well. Okay, so we're just going to invite your amazing subconscious mind that knows everything, knows exactly where to go. We're just going to invite it to take us back to the place where we made this decision that we were not valuable to ourselves. We were not intrinsically valuable. So in order to do this, I'm just going to ask you to imagine that above the top of your head is a huge, great golden funnel. And this funnel has infinite love and healing energy pouring into it. And it's pouring into the funnel and into you, in through the top of your head. And it is filling every cell of your beautiful body, right down to the tips of your toes, the tips of your fingers, all through your body is being filled with infinite love and healing energy. And as you're filled with this amazing feeling, you become lighter and lighter and lighter. And as that happens, you are able to lift up out of your physical body. We're going to lift your amazing subconscious mind out of your physical body. And it can look down the timeline of your life. And we're going to invite your amazing subconscious to go back down the timeline of your life to the moment of your conception. We're going to ask it to go all the way back down there and just hover above the place it needs to hover when it realizes the point where you made this belief that you are not valuable to yourself. And you do not have to connect with that moment. So you do not have to feel the feeling or see what was going on in that moment. Your subconscious can keep you safe. It's just going to hover above that place. And we're going to invite in someone that you truly trust. This might be a partner, it might be a friend, it might be a parent, it might be someone else. Doesn't matter. It might be someone who's no longer alive. It doesn't matter. We're going to invite someone in, and we're going to invite them to step in with that little younger you, and she might have been, or he might have been still in the room, that's okay. We're going to invite this trusted person to go and tap on that little younger you. And as they do that, just tap on yourself. So you can stay totally disconnected from this event. You do not need to tune into the emotion that we're going on in that moment. Just ask your trusted person to tap. Might be someone famous, it doesn't matter who it is, just tap on yourself as you imagine them tapping on little you. Little younger you, might be much, much younger, might not even be born. Just tapping and telling them that it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. They're going to survive this, and you know that because you're the living proof. And they can look up and they can see you hovering up there, and they know that it's going to be all right. You're the living proof that they've made it this far in their life. It's going to be okay. Just asking them to accept what happened that day as part of your learning, because the difficult stuff that happens to us, the difficult things that occur, are our greatest lessons always. And at the time, we cannot see that. Stuff can happen to us and we can think, how on earth can this ever be an upside, ever be a good thing? But you know what? It's always those moments, and I'm saying this from someone who's been through a few, that they are the greatest, greatest lessons to us. They are the big turning points, and they have made you who you are. So this day that you made this belief that I have no value to myself, all my value is in what I can achieve and show and look like, none of it's intrinsic. That was a belief that kept you safe that day. It kept you safe. It might have kept you safe in your family environment. It might have kept you safe in the situation you found yourself in that day, but it kept you safe, because that's what all our beliefs do. And then when we get older, we don't really want them anymore, but our subconscious is wired into that now. It's keeping you safe. So you can allow that belief to shift and change. You can tell your amazing subconscious that actually you are safe, you're fine, you don't need this belief any longer. You can let it go. Excellent. Good work. Okay, so you might want to imagine floating down to join that little younger you. We call the younger yous echoes, just because that's a good term. There is a meaning for that, but it doesn't matter here. So call them echoes, and we're just going to float down, say hello to your little echo, give him or her a hug, and tell them how much they're valued, and thank them. Thank them for having this belief which kept you safe for all of these years. Okay, just tap on the outside of the hand as you do this. Oh, that's nice. I like it. Okay. So we're going to just bring all your echoes together, all the echoes, all the younger yous, and this might be a younger you up to yesterday, all the younger yous that ever had this feeling that I am not valuable to myself, I am not intrinsically valuable. We are going to sweep up all the echoes from that moment that we just went to on your timeline where you made that belief. We are going to float along your timeline, it gets more wacky, and we are going to bring all your echoes, and there may be thousands and thousands of them, every single version of you that ever had that belief that I am not of intrinsic value to myself. Bring them up your timeline, and we're going to bring them into a beautiful space that is of your choosing. So I usually choose a lovely place in nature, sort of outdoors with amazing views. You might want a beautiful beach. You might want somewhere in your home that you can magically expand, your garden, just a place that you love, a place that you love being. And you can clear it of anyone else. You can magically expand it so that all of these echoes, all of these younger yous can fit in there. So with your eyes closed, it's often easier if that's okay for you to do that. And just imagine floating up your timeline and sweeping up all the little younger yous, all the mini-me's, all the little ones. Bring them along, that they ever had that feeling, that belief, that thought that I have no value. All the times they had to run someone else down or pick themselves up because they didn't feel enough. All the times that they measured themselves or someone else based on appearance or possessions or on achievements or on what they have. All of those times they compared themselves and they found themselves lacking. All of those little younger me's. Bring them all up, bring them all together. There may well be a lot of them. There's probably going to be thousands. That's okay. Bring them along. Let's bring them along. Welcome them into this beautiful space that you've chosen to create for them. And I'll just give you a moment to bring them all together. And if there's any ancestors that you'd like to bring into, maybe grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, whatever. If you're someone who enjoys angels and likes angels, you might want to bring in a few angels. If there's special people in your life, you might want them there too, just to support all of these little younger yous. If you've got a real champion in your life, someone who thinks you're amazing, then bring them in. They can champion you and all these younger yous. So just bringing them into this space. I'll just give you a moment to bring them all together. Okay, and you're going to show them how to tap now, even if you've only just learnt in the last 10 minutes, that's fine. So invite all these little echoes, or big echoes, just to feel what they felt in that moment, the moment that you picked them up and brought them here. So just start them tapping on the side of their hand, tapping on the top of their head, tapping on the inside of the eyebrow, tapping under the eye. Oh, outside of the eye, sorry, I missed that. I was doing one and saying the other. Under the eye, under the nose, under the mouth, under the collarbone, under the arm. And back to the top of the head. Just allow them to feel what they were feeling in that moment and just let it release. Inside of the eyebrow, outside of the eye, under the eye. Tell them that they're safe now. They're in this amazing safe space and they are safe under the nose, and they are safe to let go of this belief. They can live their life without this belief under the mouth that no longer serves them, under the collarbone and under the arm. And just go through those again at the top of the head, inside the eyebrow, outside the eye, under the eye. They have permission. Give themselves permission to let go of that belief, let go of the feeling they had in that moment. They are safe without it. It's okay. And just tapping across the wrist now, and next to the thumbnail, and each nail in turn. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. And they might want to help them release any remaining bits of this emotion. And just put your hand on your heart, and with the other hand just hold on the back of the hand. And now I'd like you just to imagine the purest, most beautiful cleansing rain begins to fall, even if you're inside, it's fine. And it washes out any remaining bits of this belief that is still lurking in all of those echoes, and just allow that to wash out, wash into the ground, into the soil, and let it be transmuted into beautiful golden healing light. And then imagine beautiful, beautiful healing golden light that we had before, right at the beginning, before we went back down the timeline. We had this funnel above our head, and just bring that in, and we're going to have a million funnels above all of the heads of all of these echoes. Each of them's got a funnel, a golden funnel, into which is being poured infinite love and healing energy. And as they fill up with infinite love and healing energy, you see an amazing thing happen. All of them are connected to all of the others. So cords grow, and very often the cords grow from the heart, but you might see the cords growing from another place. It might be from the tummy button, from the sacrum somewhere, from the throat, doesn't matter. But all of these echoes are joined together with cords. Cords that energetically join them, because of course they're energetically joined, because they're all versions of you. So allow these cords to be filled with the golden light that is pouring into the top of the heads of all of these younger yous. All of them are joined by a cord. And just see this beautiful golden light flowing up and down the cords. And all of these younger yous are joined together. There's a massive network, a big web of these beautiful golden cords, joining all of these younger yous together. And I'd like you to invite all of these younger versions of you to say these words. And if you can say it out loud, then please do. If not, then in your head is great. I forgive you for not always being the person I wanted you to be. I forgive you completely and utterly and without any conditions. And as you say those words, I want you to imagine all of those versions of you, all of your younger yous, all of your echoes, all blend into one, like a massive Russian doll. So all of these little yous all just step in together. And it's like a Russian doll, all of these echoes slot together. And feel the feeling of that forgiveness, that self-forgiveness. You have forgiven yourself for that belief that you made and the way that you behaved throughout all the years of your life since the moment you made that belief. And just feel what that feels like. That should be quite a pleasant feeling. And notice where you feel it. And allow that feeling to expand. And if it has a colour, just name the colour. It might be yellow or golden or pink or blue or something else. Doesn't matter. Allow that feeling and that colour to expand through every cell of your physical body. And of course, because you're all Russian dolls together, it's expanding through all the bodies of all those little yous, all your echoes. And enjoy it. Enjoy the feeling of that forgiveness, having let go of that belief. And allow that feeling to expand beyond you. Let it expand into your energy field and then beyond that, into the room, through the house, wherever you are, beyond, 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 out into the wide world, out into the universe, till it's at the furthest possible reaches of anything, of infinity. Send it out there. And send that feeling all the way back down your timeline to the moment of your conception. And if you're someone who connects with past lives or parallel lives, then you can send it down all those as well. And send it into your future life. Zoom it up through your future life into your long, healthy, happy future. It's a long, healthy, happy future where you're not carrying this belief around with you, where you start to believe you do have value. Now, my experience of sessions like this, actually, I'll just let you come back. So just take a couple of breaths and then notice your feet on the ground and bring yourself back to the here and now. Good. So sessions like this are deeply profound, and we often have set up patterns in our life. I mean, I have been carrying this belief for 52 years. So, you know, it's pretty deeply ingrained. So we have set up patterns in our life, and we can have an amazing session either online or with a practitioner. We think, wow, that was incredible. And then a week or 2 or 3 later, we notice ourselves back in our old patterns. And that's because really largely the beliefs have become entrenched as a habit. So if we've been self-sabotaging forever, you know, and being on a diet for 3 weeks and then we dive into the chocolate biscuits, breaking that is going to be really hard. You know, it's not going to happen. It may, but it often doesn't happen in one session. So I would really strongly suggest that you do this process, especially, you know, a couple of rounds of tapping, bringing all your echoes together into that lovely safe space, bring in any ancestors or friends or whoever you want to be there, allow the golden, allow them to tap, allow the rain to wash it out, and bring in the golden light and that feeling of connection. And this will be on my page. You can replay this, and I'm also going to load it onto YouTube, onto my channel. So I would recommend doing this exercise. Once you've done it 3 or 4 times with the video, you'll be able to do it easily on your own, and quickly. So I can do this in about 5 minutes tops now, and I try and do it every morning when I wake up. I have a few different things running, so I kind of mop them all in together. So yeah, when I first wake up, I'm lying in bed. Before I get up, I just do this exercise. Bring out hello echoes. Come on then, let's get in the space. Let's do some tapping, and I just visualize the tapping because I don't want to disturb the cat. Not my husband, my cat. And we bring them into the space, and then you can visualize the feeling, the amazing feeling from the forgiveness, sending it up and down the timeline. But doing it every day can get really quick. You'll get really efficient. But I would recommend doing it every day for a couple of months at least. Okay, that might seem, wow, that's a lot. But you've got deeply ingrained habits that you've been carrying for, years. So what's a couple of months? Make a commitment to yourself. I'm going to do this until, what is it today? The 7th of June, shall we say. Doesn't seem too far, does it? That seems achievable. So just doing this for a few minutes every day, and it'll be fascinating to see. I mean, my own experience from doing this regularly, it makes such a profound difference. And I also want to mention something else that just occurred to me actually when I was just preparing for this live. So on my page a week or two ago, I put up a post about gratitude. And about how I started maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I put up a whiteboard in the kitchen, and every day I write a message to my husband about something I'm grateful to him for. And it's really small, it's often, oh, that was the most amazing beef bourguignon, or that was an incredible curry you made, or thanks for joining me on my daily walk, or whatever, that joke you told was hilarious. Doesn't matter, often really small things. And it tell you what, it makes a really profound difference. It's really, he looks forward to coming downstairs every day to see what I've written, and I look forward to thinking of what I'm going to say tomorrow. So it's fun, it's great. How about a gratitude board to you? So you set one up for you, and this might be in a place that's yours, that's private. You might have a book, might not be on the wall. And every day before you go to bed, you think of something you did that was loving to yourself. So what did you do for you that you valued, that showed you valued yourself, that was loving to yourself? So it might be that you gave yourself a pedicure, or it might be that even though you were a little bit tired, you took yourself out for a walk and actually you felt a ton better afterwards. Or you were feeling a bit like bleh, and you didn't really want to talk to anyone, but you phoned your friend and you actually had a really good laugh, and you made yourself feel better. Or you had a whole day where you ate really well, or you went to yoga class, whatever it is, doesn't matter. So what about every day you write a gratitude for you? So I really want to know how you get on. And you might have had some nice benefits or realizations and stuff going on in this session. I know I did one last week about feeling separate and isolated. This isn't dissimilar. I'm sure there's a lot of intertwined beliefs here. So I would love to know your experience of today, and also if you can remember, in a few weeks when you've been doing it regularly, just what differences you've noticed in your world and in your life. Thank you so much for being here. It seems to be becoming a bit of a Sunday evening ritual, and I quite like that actually. So if I think of something, or if you want something for next week, doesn't have to be something that's really resonates with me. If there's something you'd love me to do a little Facebook Live on, a little tapping session, please let me know, because I'm really happy to do that. Thanks for all the smiles and hearts and love. Thank you for being here. I'm going off to enjoy the rest of my evening, and I hope you do too, and lots of love to you all. Bye bye.